Welcome into the Coach Jake Gaines Show, sponsored today by Divine Fitness. I'm your host, David Simpson. Coach, quick 8 months, it seems like.
Yep.
We're on the field here at Bill Maher Stadium, by the way, talking to Coach Gaines for this upcoming season. 8 months, it's flown by last time we played. And I want to talk about 2024 a minute before we get into 25.
Absolutely.
But remarkable season, 11 wins, first in school history. I believe the most points scored in school history. I think your defense gave up a total of 157 total points, which is probably another school record. 6-0 in region play, got that region championship, the first in 20 years. You were the 5A North champion, first state championship appearance in school history. I know that last game, it's still, at times, if I'm driving, I'm thinking about that play, those two plays there, or reviewable plays. Kind of talk about the season a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was, like you said, I mean, it was a record-breaking year. We did a lot of good things. We came a long way, and I think, getting over, the hump of, it was second round the first year, third round the second year, and you kind of felt like sometimes that's where teams will stall out, and you feel like that's kind of your ceiling.
Yeah.
But for us, we were able to kind of break through that and get to the big one in Birmingham. And you came up and played short, and like you, I often think about it as well. But that's something like, we've talked about as a team is teams that lose the Super Bowl. Only 8 have returned out of the last 50-something years.
Wow.
So you start doing some research into why is that, like why are only 8 runner-ups able to get back? Typically you have same quarterback, same team, you're able to add a piece here in free agency, and it's because that letdown is so great and such a mental toil on you all year that you're like, I don't know if I want to work this hard because we just lost, we worked really hard, we lost, and there's like a lot of mental that goes into that. So like for us this offseason, we've attacked it head on, and we've said we want to be one of the 8, one of those 8 teams. The ones I'm thinking of, the Patriots, they lose. They lost the Eagles, I think, in Minnesota in 16 or 17, and they go back the next year and win it. That was the most recent, but you start thinking about these past, and I know it wasn't the Super Bowl, but it was our Super Bowl. And so for us, we've been really mentally attacking this offseason more than we have just physically, because we know how to work. We get after it early and often, but for us, like, how do we get over that mental hump? Just like you're saying, driving down the road, the kids feel the same, I feel the same, the coaches feel the same. We're all like, man, one play away and we got a big old ring on our finger. So it is a lot, and it's been interesting, but for us, like this week couldn't come fast enough, because like the longer you think about anything, the worse and bigger it became. And so for us, like, just getting to game week, we're finally here, and it's time to go play some real football and put 2024 behind us officially, because like you said, that's all we thought about. But for now, we can push forward in 25.
So one thing about last year's team, you had about 10 plus players are playing at the next level now. They're in their fall practice. Talk about that senior class. I know every senior class is special. This senior class, they were special too. Talk about them just a little bit.
Yeah, every year they get more special. I guess because I got more time with them. It's like, well, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But this class, they were super talented. They were freshmen when I took the job, going into their sophomore years, and they got to taste, a program kind of one way their freshman year for just a little bit, and then they had to kind of buy in and jump all in with me going into their sophomore years. And so they were just super special. They were like my strongest leaders that I've had. The Sydneys, Caleb Goff, Jackson Randall. Like you start naming the kids, good football player, good football player, but just great leader. I mean, lost a lot of leadership. So what? Again, a lot of our emphasis, like I said, has been mental. It's been developing leaders. We got the biggest senior class in Moody history this year with 27, and
wow.
And last year was 20, which was a big class. And so this is 27. It will be the biggest for a while. I think the current 8th grade and 7th grade have a ton of kids right now, but it always dwindles. This is a huge class, and like their role and job is to lead this football team and to leave not just a legacy with the blue mat, but leave some leadership behind. Like, we've got a lot of kids that are young that are going to be playing this year, and so for them, they need to be leaning on them and taking care of them. And And so, yeah, I mean, it's tough replacing leadership more than it is productivity. You can change your offense, you can change your defense, you can scheme if you're, feel like we're okay scheme coaches. Yeah. But losing the leadership, losing the locker room, losing that kind of stuff, you can't get back. So for us, it's all been about developing those leaders and getting those guys going.
So let's talk about the 2025 season. You're in your 4th season as head coach. You have a 31-8 record. I know you don't care about all that stuff, but that's an 80% winning percentage, which is here at this school, that means a lot. What did you do different, or have you done anything different in the off season compared to beginning of 2024 season?
Yeah, probably stressed a little bit more. Got a few gray hairs on the side.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with that now.
But I think the biggest thing for me was I probably had the biggest mental letdown after the game that I feel like I know we had some players take it tough. I know we had some coaches. I know we had some fans. Coach Cromer's son, Finn, he didn't go to school for a week. And, I mean, my guy was distraught. And there was a lot of that in the community. And so for me, it was like what they talk about. I was trying to find that fire again. I was trying to find, to get back. And then when it flipped. And it's like, man, you tasted it. You're so close. And we just got to find a way back. But going into year 4, I felt like this will be my first class that I've seen all the way through, freshmen to seniors. Yep. So if they're not leaders, if they don't do the right thing, then that's on me, because I've had 4 years to change it and to do it. And so, the big thing that, obviously don't talk about a lot, but I have the same staff this year than I did last year for the first time in my 4-year career. So having that bond and togetherness as a staff, knowing hey, this is what I expect in certain situations, and I feel like we've been able to grow and elevate ourselves as a staff this offseason, and that has bled into the kids. The way we practice is super efficient. We've cut time out of practice, not because we're not working hard, but because we've gotten better at practicing. Every year we've gotten better at practicing. So ultimately we want that to lead to the games. But yeah, I think for me, it's been, being grateful has been my word. We're looking at this new facility, the Jumbotron, the turf, all that. None of this was here 4 years ago. New lights that everyone gets to see the new light show against Oxford in about 13 days, 14 days, or less than that now, 12 days. But no, I'm just super grateful for this community and this school, and Dr. Walters has been great to me. So I think I had to take a step back instead of being so mad and disappointed with the outcome of that one game. It's just a game. We've still done a lot of good.
You can't change it. No, you have to kind of move on.
We've put 28 kids in college football in 3 years, which I think is the most in the entire state.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe Thompson or Central Phoenix, and that's it. 28 kids in 3 years, and so that's what we've done. That's something to be proud of, and I'm super thankful.
One thing I noticed in their off-season workouts on social media is your speed test. Mm-hmm. Did y'all get some new equipment?
We did.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I sold out. So you played Montgomery Catholic, and it was a great game. I mean, back and forth, very evenly matched. But I felt like, what was the one thing I felt like they had on? It was team speed. They were fast at every position, and we were fast, but not as fast. So me, Coach Cam, Coach Colby, we sold out to speed, and I wanted to be fast. And our O-line's fast. Our DBs are fast. Everybody's fast, and so we sold out. We got new equipment. We have Titan. Went with Titan this year. It's a GPS monitoring system that tracks every movement, top speed, tracks your average speed. So it tells me if a kid's loafing. Tells me I don't even have to watch it. I can just go look at the data and say, hey, you didn't.
Oh wow.
You didn't hit 75% of your top speed. You weren't trying today, And so even in the weight room, we've bought some new equipment to adjust. Everything is based on speed. I don't care how much you lift. I want the bar moving fast. And Coach Cam knows that, and he does a great job of that. And that's something that as a team we bought into, and I think you'll see on Friday nights.
One thing I was going to ask you about the offseason, what players have really stood out in the offseason?
Yeah, that's tough. I think, you guys, your core guys like Cam Mallerie, LaCamera Meadows, Henry Smith, those are 3 that jump out to me because, starting in January all the way till now, we've had optional stuff on Saturdays and Sundays. Optional, completely optional. It's off season, but hey, Coach Cam or someone's up here at the facility. Those 3 haven't missed a Saturday or Sunday. Really? Not one.
Wow.
I'm talking about from January to July, And you'll see it on Friday nights now. Like Cameron Meadows he was good. He was really good. He's better. He's way better. And it's because he's put in the work. Cam Mallerie, I haven't let him practice much this year because I can't function with him on the field. He's too disruptive. So Henry Smith, he doesn't look like he did last year. He's up to 260, and he's moving at 260. It's a good 260. He's up from 220. He's put on about 40 pounds in one offseason. So kids like that, they stand out, but there's been a lot. I know I'm going to stop naming them because I'm going to leave kids out, but we've had a lot of kids buy in to the extra work. When you're here, you're going to work hard.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
I know offensively, Coach, you got a new quarterback, you got a new offensive line, you got Fish coming back, and you got J.B. Myers, your two veterans coming back. Talk about the QB and O-line for a minute.
Yeah, so QB, Jake Lowry, he'll be a junior, man. He's a stud. He's a great kid. You get spoiled with Charlie. I know you guys, you talking to Charlie, you feel like he's your best friend.
Oh, yeah.
And you get spoiled having him for 2 years, and Jake was able to step in. He's a different quarterback. He's 6'2", so he's great size, but he's not 6'5". He has different talents than Charlie, and he's a little more, out of the pocket, quick game, RPO, sprint out, does some things differently that we're excited to kind of showcase. But for us, we got to still figure him out. Like, what is he like under the lights?
Yeah.
Everyone's different, and, do you wake up after that first hit and this Thursday, or does it take a few weeks? You never know. But breaking in him with the new O-line, what I've been so proud about the O-line is you got two seniors, Max Myers and Dagan Medlock, who did not play as juniors. Typically, if you don't play as a junior, you either quit or you're not going to play as a senior because you just weren't good enough. But those kids, man, they worked their tails off for 3 years for me. They didn't, we're not playing, we're going to quit, or man, they just worked and worked and worked, and now they're starting as seniors. Max gets to start. Mason Myers is the guy. He's the best. And now Max has got a chance to go do something Mason couldn't do.
Make his own name.
That's it. And Caleb Ragsdale's the other one who we had at tight end because he's so athletic, and we didn't really use him as much as we wanted to. So we went to him in the offseason and said, hey, we need you to play O-line. He said, yes, sir. I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes. And so he's at a tackle spot with JB. So we've got our two most athletic tackles that we've had, which is really encouraging. We're still a big O-line, don't get me wrong. Like, if you look at 5A across the board, I think we're as big, if not big as anyone, but we're not as thick, I think, as you would say, as like last year. But, man, we're quick. And like I said, team speed, we can go. So really excited for those five. And then Jake, just to go have fun, let it rip, man. He can spin it. He can throw. He can make every throw on the field. And he's extremely accurate. He's kind of like a blend of Cole and Charlie for our Moody fans that have seen our quarterbacks our last 3 years. He's a blend of a little bit of each. He's not as fast as Cole maybe, and not as tall and maybe throw it as far as Charlie, but he's got a little bit of both, and really excited for him.
We're looking forward to seeing the new O-line and quarterback this year. One thing about the 2025 schedule in the region, you're the second oldest coach in the region now, with Hood being the veteran. You're number 2, Coach Robinson at St. Clair's number 3. A lot of new coaches in Region 6 this year. I know we will talk about them during the year, but kind of talk about the schedule and the region a little bit. Yeah,
so schedule's the same. For those at home, it's just flipped, home and away. But, for us, it's like the two big non-region games to start. We get Oxford at home, and then we jump right into region play. New coach at Jacksonville, and then obviously with St. Clair and T-Rob's stability there, and then Helena, Auburn, and then you kind of finish with that 4-game region stretch. New coach at Center Point. We go to Leeds. We host Springville, new coach, and then we're at Lincoln, new coach. So there will be a lot of unknowns in the region, a lot of different offenses. Springville won't run the triple this year. Be interesting to see, what Lincoln and Jacksonville do with, Sully's from Boaz, and we got to watch them in some crossover film from the past couple playoffs years. So interested to see what he brings to Jacksonville, and we'll just see what they got and go from there. But man, just really excited about the schedule. If anyone questioned it last year, the 4 games in the playoffs, we played 4 of the best teams in the North. Arab could have won the region. We know it was the best defense we played, in my opinion, besides Catholic. And then you go Ramsey, Leeds, and I think it was 156-14 was the total points in 4 games. that was strictly because of Gainesville, Oxford, Helena, Auburn. So for us, again, it's not about going 10-0. We'd love to do it. Man, that would be awesome. We'd love to do it. We fully expect to go 1-0 each week, but it's to get ready for November, and our schedule proved that, like, okay, this formula was the first time I got to make a schedule. It works. And so for us, it was just like, how do we find that one play versus Catholic? How do we get one play better? And that's something we've kind of talked about this offseason.
Last question before we take a break. This is your first senior class. I believe they were 8th graders when you were hired. Now
Yep. They became freshmen my first season.
Just talk about them briefly real quick.
Yeah, so when I got here, there was like 50 kids or 49 kids, 9 to 12, like on the roster. So the seniors, there was only 4 when I took the job that had just graduated.
Oh, wow.
And it was, Suggs, McDonald, Chico, and Plug, I think, were the 4 seniors. And I didn't get to coach them, but I got to see them around. And so I went to the junior high and said, hey, all you 8th graders, let's go. So they started with us in the mornings from January of 22 till right now. So like we have been together for so long, and they have seen this place change firsthand.
Oh, yeah.
Their locker room as freshmen, they didn't have lockers. So when we got in that field house, there was only 58 lockers somehow. And our numbers, shot up in the spring with kids coming out to like 90. So our freshmen dressed on benches. They didn't have anywhere so they stacked their equipment under their benches.
Wow.
So that group has gone from dressing on benches to the nice locker room to now getting to see this new facility go up. And it's just a big full circle deal for them. And so for them, if you ask any of them, they're all going to tell you the same thing, like blue map, blue map, blue map.
Yeah.
And I've trained them media-wise to like be humble, I hope, but at the same time, I've preached that for 4 years that there's no stopping them. Like I've listened to some of their interviews they've done at the media days in Trustful to the media days in Pell City, and like there's one unified goal and vision, and I believe it's my job as a leader of the organization to establish that, and we want to go win a state championship. But to do that, we got to have a good day today, tomorrow, and the next day, and we got to keep getting better. So love that senior class, and part of my bad mental offseason, I'll call it, is me thinking about losing this group. I lost to these 20 of golf and Sydney, and I was like, man. Now losing these 27, I'm like, oh man, got to go do it again. But that's high school football.
That is high school football. Well, Coach, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll talk about Gainesville. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Josiah Doer, senior wide receiver, and senior defensive lineman Cam Mallerie. You're watching the Coach Jake Gaines Show on the 411 Network. Welcome back into the Coach Jake Gaines Show. Joining me now is senior wide receiver Josiah Doer. Joe, glad you could join us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Recapping last year,
Yes, sir.
You had over 1,000 yards receiving, 17 TDs.
Yes, sir.
I know you played for a blue map. I know that game didn't go the way you wanted to because you got hurt early in the ball game. Can you talk about 2024 just a little bit?
Just the football team or just like the whole year?
The whole year.
I mean, starting off from offseason in January, coming in January 6th, first day or fourth, one of those days, coming in, when I walked in the locker room, I felt the cold little chill, not just because it was cold, but I just felt like the unity and the brotherhood in that locker room was special off the rip. And throughout the offseason, the spring, everything just felt smooth sailing. We were looking like a great football team, and of course we were. We just didn't get the job done, but I mean, just being able, overall, the year was just perfect. Just being with them, working with 2024's team. But like, the one word I can say about that team is definitely special, and really it's because we put our faith through Christ, and we let God lead the way, trusted His word, trusted our coaches, and it led us to state championship. But it was just a special year.
So this championship game, can you talk about the play that you got hurt on? Can you talk about that, or do you?
I remember.
Okay.
I remember. Before that, I had just caught that slant for like 15, 20 yards.
Yeah.
And at that moment, before that, we got stopped, and I was like, the team need me, I got to step up. I wasn't being vocal. I was kind of just like under the lights, first time under the lights. But I was like, I got to make some shake. And then I caught that slant. I was feeling energized. Coach K called another play for me to get the ball. And then I seen the ball, and then I seen nothing. And I woke up, and everybody was around me, and I didn't know what was going on. But that's really all I can remember for real.
Yeah.
Was me waking up and everybody surrounding me, telling me get off the field, and asking me, am I okay?
Well, we're glad you
Yeah,
are
me too.
okay. Glad
Yes,
you're
sir.
back this year. Let's talk about 2025.
Yes, sir.
Anything different in winter workouts this year compared to 2024?
Yes, sir. Obviously, we don't know how good we are right now, or just like how our team is. So it's a little bit different because coming in, we got new leaders, new senior group. We're just trying to figure out who we are as a team and find our vocal leaders. That's really the difference. Was just trying to find our true leaders, true leadership position or just group, whatever,
Yeah.
and see who's our alpha, and just really figure ourselves out. That's the difference between this year and last year.
So the recruiting process, I know you committed to the South Florida Bulls.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that recruiting process. What led you to commit to South Florida?
Davion, my first pair of college gloves he gave me was South Florida gloves,
Oh, okay.
and they were some green and gold with the gold USF on them.
Yeah.
And my first ever college coach that followed me was the tight end coach up there, and he was in touch with me. His name is Jack Taylor. He was in touch with me for a good little minute all throughout my life. Since freshman year, he's been recruiting me. He wanted me to play tight end and get to like 200 pounds. I was like 130 at the time, and but it's been really just God throughout this whole process. Like everything feels like home. The coaches are just like my coaches. I mean, it's this one rule that they live by: just be who you say you are, and that the coaches up there are definitely who they say they are on off the field. But I mean, of course, in between the lines, they're going to coach me and lead me to be the best I can be. But it's just been special, and just everything's feels just like home.
Great. What about, will you be an early enrollee, or will you?
Yes, sir.
You'll go in January?
Yes, sir. I'll be enrolling in January. Yes,
That's
sir.
great. All right, last question. What is one thing fans do not know about Josiah Dozier?
One thing that the fans don't know about me is outside of football and stuff like that in sports, I actually, me and my friend Barack, we sometimes make music together, make songs. So
Okay.
that's one thing. I'm a rapper, a little underground rapper.
So you got a rapper name?
No, I just
Just
get
Joe?
on it. Yes, sir, just Joe.
All right, Josiah, we're looking for
Yes, sir.
looking forward for a good year from you, praying for a good, healthy year.
Yes, sir,
And
absolutely.
we thank you for joining us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
When we come back, we're going to talk to senior defensive lineman Cam Mallerie. You're watching the Coach Jake Gaines Show on the 411 Network. Welcome back into the Coach Jake Gaines Show. Joining me now is senior defensive lineman Cam Mallerie. Cam, I was going to say, I watched you, Coach Gaines' first year, you were a freshman, and you just caught my eye, your work ethic and how you played, and you were starting as a freshman. So I've been just thrilled to death at how you've grown over the last 4 years. Recap last season a little bit. I know you played for a Blue Mount, but kind of talk about 2024 just for a few minutes.
Yes, sir. We kind of embraced something new that offseason. We started 6 a.m.s. We put in the work, and we felt like we were ready to go against anybody. Obviously, we were really talented. We started off kind of rocky, I believe, first 2 games, but after those 2, and kind of how we competed with some of the best talent in Georgia, and then a team that made a deep playoff run in 6A, we knew that we had a chance against anybody we played anywhere, and we were going to be successful. We came up short in the state championship game, and that's kind of fueled us this year.
Yeah. So what was anything different in the workouts this season compared to last season? Has it been more harder for you, or is it been about the same?
In terms of like what we do, I think it's about the same, but the way we approach it is when
It's
we know it sets us up to be successful, and then it's kind of a chip on our shoulder, just knowing that we have to do a little bit more than we did last year.
So the recruiting process, I know you had a lot of D1 offers. One that stood out was the Stanford offer. I think that's the first time in the history of Moody schools an athlete has had that offer on the table, which is big in itself. But I know you had a lot of schools knocking on your door, and you committed to West Virginia. Kind of talk about that process a little bit.
Yes, sir. So originally Coach Green was at Jacksonville State. and he offered me there when I was going into my junior year that spring. And then when he got to West Virginia, he offered me almost as soon as he got there. Then the relationship, getting to talk to him, he's from Alabama, so we grew up around the same area. And they always made me feel like I was their guy, number one guy. As with other schools, I kind of had the question, and they said some things, but West Virginia always made me feel like I was the priority.
Will you be an early enrollee as well?
Yes, sir.
So you'll be going in January
Yes,
then?
sir.
Wow. All right, last question. What is one thing fans do not know about you?
I really enjoy watching documentaries in my free time.
So what type of documentaries? Music? History?
Really everything. I'm a big history guy. Recently I started watching the SEC documentary from last season. And I'm gonna start the Hurricane Katrina documentary sometime, probably Friday.
Well, that's
after game week.
I like documentaries as well, all kinds of documentaries. So that's good thing. So, well, we're looking forward, Cam, to you having a great year, a good, healthy year, and can't wait to Thursday night to see you on the field.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for joining us.
Thank you.
Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to talk to head football coach Jake Gaines about the Gainesville Red Elephants, which we kick off this Thursday night in Gainesville. Welcome back into the Coach Jake Gaines Show. Well, Coach, here it is, game week, this Thursday night on the road, Gainesville Red Elephants. I watched their game on the NFHS site this weekend, and they're the real deal.
Yes, they are.
Coach Niblett, head coach. Last year they were 7-4. You look at that and go, well, that wasn't that. Like again, you don't play into the record.
Yeah.
But they've got Kareem Hughley coming back, their junior quarterback, and they got Xavier Griffin coming back. Talk about Gainesville a little bit.
Yeah. So first, that record. If you look at the losses, besides the playoff loss, I do feel like that was an upset. But anything can happen in the playoffs. They lost to Carrollton, Milton, and like 2 or 3 of the top teams in the country, not just the state of Georgia, in the country. So they're a really good football team. Obviously numbers-wise, we talked about it last year, but I think it's important to know they would be a 7A in Alabama, numbers-wise, school-wise. It's a very large school in Georgia. But yeah, you name 2 of their players, they got about 18 more that are really good. Quarterback's back. He's a stud. He's committed to Clemson. And running back,
Newkirk,
yeah,
I believe.
So there's 2, and they're both studs, and they're special. O-line is massive, and then as far as defensively, their D-line, almost everyone's back except big boy in the middle. He's at Duke, probably starting this year if I had to guess. And then you got they had a kid from Sparkman went over there and who is committed to Bama as well with Xavier. So you got 2 Bama commits in the box, and DBs are really good. But no, there's a really good football team, and they're really well coached. It's not like you just throw a bunch of good players out there and tell them, hey, go play. Coach Niblett's been doing this a long time, and they run that thing like a college program, and it's a well-oiled machine. And so for us, you go back and look at last year, and are they better? Are we better? Not sure. I think maybe a little bit of both. But if you go and look at last year's game, it's 3-0 at halftime. I mean, it's a dogfight.
It is a dogfight. Yeah.
And we come out and we just kind of run out of gas defensively. They converted on a 3rd and 11 and a 3rd and 14 on the opening drive, and they scored to make it 10-0. And then from there, it just felt like, all right, the wind's out of the sails. We give up a punt return to make it 17, and then they get a sack fumble to make it 24. So like 2 plays, or else it's like a 10-0, 10-7 game. But we also fumble a snap right here going in to score at the end of the first half to make it potentially 7-0 us. And so for us, it's just going to be about got to find a way to sustain drives offensively. Their defense is really good, be probably the best we play, minus maybe in Auburn. And then defensively, can we get off the field early enough to stay fresh? Because those long drives, they're so big, they just weigh on you up front. And our D-line is big, but you can only hold up for so long. And that's kind of what happened last year. So it'd be very similar in terms of game plan wise, just trying to control the ball a little bit, find a way to move the ball, get first downs, defense, get stops, get off the field, don't let them convert on 3rd and short. And I think, it's high school football, anything can happen, and they're a really good football team, don't get me wrong, but we're fully expecting to have a great week and go over there and compete and win the game.
So what will be your plans Thursday traveling over to Gainesville? It's about a 3.5-hour drive. So what's your plans for Thursday?
Yeah, so we'll go you know, we were back and forth with the hotel dilemma, and I met with my leadership group, and they basically agreed like they would rather sleep in their own bed and maybe get up just a little earlier on Thursday morning to travel in the morning than to sleep, you know, like, because we'd be two to a bed in a hotel. So, like, somebody's got to sleep with Cam Mallerie. You ain't getting much sleep. You know, he's going to be elbowing you and kicking you everywhere. But, you know, we'll get up. We'll bus over. We're going to go to Gwinnett Church. It's about 30 minutes away from Gainesville. And we're going to kind of set up shop there, do, you know, a little walkthrough, hang out, watch a movie, eat pregame meal, and then from there we'll bus and get to Gainesville High School just like any normal away game or home game. Like, our routine will be the exact same, but like basically we'll go set up shop at Gwinnett Church. And shout out to Gwinnett Church for being so, you know, gracious to host us, and we really appreciate you guys there. And yeah, that'll be it. So we'll leave early so that we get there, and the plan is to get there around 11, and just that gives us about 4.5 hours to be somewhere and not bust 3 hours and show up and have to play. So that gets
stay off their feet.
Exactly. So excited. I feel like we got a really good itinerary for that day, and you know, you never know until you do it. So we'll see how it works out.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it. Again, this Thursday night, the stadium is Bobby Groom Field at City Park Stadium. Game time is 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock here back in Moody. The 411 Network countdown to kickoff will start about 6 p.m. I believe Eastern time, 5 p.m. Central time. Make sure you're aware of that. So I don't want you to turn on the 411 Network and we're already deep in the second quarter. So make sure you check your clocks for this Thursday night. 411 Network will be available on Facebook, YouTube, Roku, and Apple TV. Hope to see everybody. Hope a big crowd travel up to Gainesville, just a 3.5 hour drive. It's not that far. We need a big crowd this Thursday night to support the Blue Devils. Thanks again for watching the Coach Jake Gaines Show. With the sun rising from the east, the air crackles with excitement as the 2025 high school football season officially kicks off tonight. For the Moody Blue Devils, it's been a long 8 months since their heartbreaking loss to Montgomery Catholic in the 5A state championship game. However, they wasted no time preparing for the upcoming season. With grueling off-season workouts beginning in January and investment in technology to help track speed, tonight marks the 4th season for Moody's head coach Jake Gaines. He led the Blue Devils to a historic 11-win season in 2024, the first in school history, securing a region championship, the first since 2004, and reaching the 5A state championship game. While Moody boasts familiar faces, some new players are stepping into crucial roles. One to watch tonight is quarterback Cam Mallerie, who has the unbelievable task of replacing the talented Charlie Johnston. The team's motto for this year is hunt or be hunted. With 15 hunts planned, they aim to reach the pinnacle and claim a blue map. However, the first hunt presents a monumental challenge for the Blue Devils. They face the nationally ranked Gainesville Red Elephants at Bobby Groom Field here in Gainesville, Georgia, fresh off a dominant 26-7 victory against Marietta. The Red Elephants are led by legendary head coach Josh Niblett, a well-known figure in Alabama high school football for his success at Aniana, Oxford, and Hoover. Their potent offense is orchestrated by junior quarterback Kareem Hughley, who threw for over 2,500 yards last season. Defensively, Alabama commit Xavier Griffin will be a force to be reckoned with, patrolling the entire field. The Red Elephants are the heavy favorite in tonight's matchup. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the 411 Network. I am David Simpson alongside my broadcast partner, Brett Staggs, and the big man on the sideline, Willie Strickland. We welcome you to Bobby Groom Field here at City Park in Gainesville, Georgia. I also extend gratitude to 411 Network Director Ashlyn Cook and producer engineer Eric Parsons for their contributions to tonight's broadcast. This promised to be an exciting start to high school football. It's the most wonderful time of the year. The band is back together, guys. Good to see you.
Man, I'll tell you what, the grass is growing slower. The days are getting shorter, and I'm sitting right here next to the voice of the Moody Blue Devils. It must be football season. I'm so stoked to be back with you guys. It's great to see you, David, Eric, Willie, and the entire crew. So happy to be here tonight.
I'm about to get run over by a herd of elephants here, apparently, so let me step up and get out of the way. But it is good to be back with you guys. The only complaint I have about this trip is the traffic. We've already talked about that, but I'm Excited that this is here. Let's play some football.
Sorry about the little weather delay here. We have been here at Gainesville earlier today, helped setting up. We were going to be in the press box earlier today, but if we did that, the view of the camera would be not as good on the TV. And also, we couldn't hook up Willie's mic to be on the sideline, so we decided to be in the stands tonight. And we're looking forward to an exciting football game. It's always that first one, guys, is the one you just, Moody's got a lot of talent coming back. Yep. So does Gainesville.
Yep.
As we said, Kareem Hewley, just a phenomenal quarterback. We'll get into the analysis of the game later, but we're so glad to be back on the air, and we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. I know I have some family here in Gainesville who are watching. My aunt and uncle, Linda and Eddie Burgess, are here in Gainesville, along with her brother Roger and his wife Billy are watching on the 411 network tonight. Also, we're having a watch party, I believe, at O'Sherry's Pub there in Moody, so we appreciate them tuning in for tonight's ball game. But we are on a rain delay. I think it was 30-minute lightning delay. Storm came up, about 2 hours ago?
Yep.
It got real dark and some lightning was around, so they decided to delay it. We thought it was going to be a little bit longer, but it's a wonderful time of the year. The clouds departed, and we're getting ready for some football. So, Brett, give us an update on tonight's game.
Man, it is going to be, as Willie gets a greeting from the Red Elephant Band, it's going to be an awesome game. You've already touched on it. Legendary coach, well-known in our part of the Sticks, Josh Niblett, only 7-4 last year, and we talked about this prior to the game. 7-4, but a nationally ranked football team. I believe they're in the top 70s in the entire nation. It doesn't matter what their record was last year. They're expecting to win a state championship and a very stout Georgia this year. Beat Marietta 26-7 last year. We can't discount, how valuable it is for them to already have a game under their belt, especially as they're gelling with some new threats. They bring in a new running back. They got some new receivers out there. Kareem Hewley is kind of the gel holding that offense together, but it takes some time to get set up. So it's going to be a great game, but let's talk about those Moody Blue Devils, a new quarterback and Jake Lowry, but we get back our weapons in LaCameron Meadows and Josiah Doer and Elijah Rutledge. We're adding some more weapons to the backfield. You can go on and on about the defense and what a stacked defense that we've got. So, and all the new names that we're going to become so much more familiar with as this season goes on, as young kids step up and really make their name known in Moody, Alabama. It's going to be a great season. I'm happy to be watching it with all of you guys.
Well, we're glad that we're all back together, the band back together. We met probably back in, I believe it was early August when they did the Tribune, Trussville Tribune sports show there at Ferris and Trussville. Just gave them some free advertisement. But our good buddies John and Johnny, I know they are tuning in tonight watching the game, and we appreciate what they do for all the high school athletics. We're getting ready we're going to pause for a minute for our prayer and national anthem. Welcome back into the 411 Network. We just had our national anthem here at Bobby Groom Field, Gainesville, Georgia, as we get ready for kickoff. We're about 17 minutes away from kickoff, and again, we want to appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Again, we have a lot of people watching. Our families back home are watching. My co-workers told me to give them a shout-out, so to my SST group out there, you know who you are. I hope you're listening, watching on YouTube. Appreciate you, and I'll see you sometime Monday. How about that? Also, like I said, our families, friends watching, people back in Moody are watching this game tonight. I know a lot of them couldn't make the trip. It's about a little over 3, almost 3.5 hour, depending on Atlanta traffic. I really had no issues, Brett, but did you have any issues?
You know, I'll say this, ran into some traffic, yellow in some places, red in others, but I'll praise God, I never stopped rolling my wheels. As long as I'm moving forward, I'm okay. As soon as I come to a complete stop with my foot on the brake, that's an issue for me. But I was able to get here in good time. I didn't stop once. Had some decent pizza. Definitely wasn't Carpenetti's, but it was okay. And now getting ready for some football tonight.
I know Willie also drove up, and he left, I think, Moody around 11 o'clock, I believe, and he loves Atlanta traffic, he said. Isn't that right, Willie?
Let me tell you, the last month, because I went to North Carolina this time last month, God knows that I need to work on my patience in traffic, so I have dealt with traffic both times. But I'm with Brett. As long as we were moving, and both times we were moving, I'm good. I was good.
All right. Well, as always, we always look forward to our game day picks this year. As we get down to our countdown to kickoff, we have 10 games on the clock for the first week. Try to get all the St. Clair County schools and also the region schools that are in Region 6, Moody's region. So we want to go ahead and get those started this year. The first one on the docket is the Pell City Panthers at Pelham Panthers. Willie, who you have?
Now you know I'm going to read my history.
Go, brother.
It's the Battle of the Panthers. They started playing back in 1980. Pell City took the lead in the series 5-4 last year. Pell City won at home 35-7. Pelham looks to tie the series with a home win tonight with former Green Wave and former TR offensive coordinator Ryan Shell. I have faith in Ryan, but I'm picking the much improved Pell City Panthers.
Willie goes with the Panthers. Brett Staggs, who do you go with?
I might be off the wall on this one. I know Pell City returns a lot of firepower. I expect them to improve this year, but I also expect Pelham to make some improvements this year as well. I don't believe Pell City is going to be able to overcome the Panthers in green. I'm going with Pelham.
Brett goes with Pelham. Brett Madison, Ashlyn Cook, and Eric Parsons pick the Panthers. I'm going to go with Brett, and I'm going to go with Pelham tonight. Game number 2. Summerton Christian at Victory Christian. That game has been canceled. So everybody, I believe, picked Victory for that, and so everybody's going to get at least one win tonight. Game number 3, Tuscaloosa Christian Warriors at East Central Patriots. Willie.
Well, now since the Victory Christian game was canceled, I'll be going to watch my boys at East Central. The Patriots took one on the chin last week in the Bear Creek Brawl in Gatlinburg versus Faith Christian from North Carolina. Now the Patriots face a hungry Warrior team, hungry to get their first win in the series. This is the third meeting. Pats won the first one 37-0 and won last year 74-42. That's a basketball score. I'm expecting a much closer game with the Patriots coming out with the win again at home.
All right, Willie goes with East Central. Brett Staggs.
Willie, I'm going to go with you on this one. I think East Central gets a W tonight also.
Brett Madison, Ashlyn Cook, Eric Parsons, and myself go with the Patriots, East Central Patriots, for the win. All right, now we're getting in region play. Still some St. Clair County schools, though, for this game number 4. Asheville Bulldogs with a new head coach at Springville Tigers. They're a Region 6 opponent, also with a new head coach. Willie, who do you have?
I love these rivalry games in this county. This is one of those good old-fashioned rivalries in St. Clair County. This is the 58th meeting in this series that started back in 1956. The Tigers lead the series 29-25-3. The Tigers escaped with a 2019 win in Asheville last season. Both teams have new coaches, as you said, David. I'm picking the Tigers to get the win and get their 30th win in the series.
Brett Staggs.
I'm with you, Willie. I'm expecting this one to be a close one. A couple new coaches on both sides of the ball. Springville lost a quarterback that they really relied on, but they returned a few guys who can really run the football, so I'm going to go with Springville to get the W tonight.
Brett Madison, Ashlyn Cook, and Eric Parsons also picked Springville, and I'm going to go with Springville as well to get that win tonight at home. Game number 5, we have the St. Clair County Saints at the Jemison Panthers. St. Clair County is a Region 6 opponent. Willie. Oh, Willie's mic is – there you go.
There we go. All right. Way to start the season. These teams will only be meeting for the second time. Last season I watched the Saints march over the Panthers at Mickey Venable Stadium. This time the game will be at Panther Stadium, but the Saints will still be marching in with a victory. I picked St. Clair.
Willie goes with the Saints. Brett Staggs.
Yeah, the Saints won by a pretty wide margin last year. Just kind of too big of a deficit, I believe, to overcome. I'm going with St. Clair to get the W tonight.
Brett Madison, Ashlyn Cook, Eric Parsons also picked St. Clair. I'm going to go with the Saints as well because they have a quarterback who can sling it, and Coach Robinson has done a real good job with the Saints, so they're going to be scoring a lot of points this year, so I'm going to go with St. Clair for the win. Next game, Mortimer Jordan Blue Devils at Leeds Green Wave, another Region 6 opponent. Willie.
This is the 46th meeting in the series that started back in 1923. The Devils have won the last 4 of the 5, but Leeds won 42-20 last season. I'm expecting a grinded out old Homer Smile Field type game with the Leeds Green Wave coming out with the victory.
Willie goes with the Greenies. Brett Staggs.
You know, Leeds has a lot of questions to answer this year, especially after the loss of a really, really tough quarterback. But I still think they pull this one out. It's going to be a close game to watch because Mortimer Jordan returns a lot of high producers on offense, but I still think Leeds takes the victory.
Brett Madison and Eric Parsons goes with Leeds. Ashlyn Cook goes with Mortimer Jordan. And I'm going to go with the Green Wave to get that win tonight. Next game, Bessemer City Purple Tigers at Centerpoint Eagles, who is another Region 6 opponent. Willie, who do you have?
This has not been a good series for the Centerpoint Eagles at all. It's a short series that started back in 1967, but this is only the 5th meeting. The Tigers have outscored the Eagles 97-40 in the 4 meetings. Last year was close, 1916. Bessemer City won. I'm picking the Tigers to get the road win and continue their dominance over the Eagles.
Brett Staggs, before you pick, Centerpoint also has a new coach this year. I didn't know if you mentioned that, Willie, or not. But all right, Brett.
Centerpoint lost their top 5 offensive producers in terms of total yards, so it was tough sledding last year, and I expect that to continue. Bessemer City Purple Tigers pull out the W tonight.
Brett Madison's picks Bessemer City. Ashlyn Cook, Eric Parsons are picking Centerpoint, and I'm going with Bessemer City as well. Next game, Lincoln Golden Bears, a Region 6 opponent, also with a new head coach at Shelby County Wildcats. Willie.
This is the 7th meeting between these two schools. They started playing back in 1941, but took a long break from 1951 to 2024. The Cats won last year at Lincoln 57-10 to tie the series at 3. I picked the Wildcats to take the lead and get the win tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's tomorrow night.
Think about
that.
I
know. All right, Brett Staggs.
Yeah, Lincoln had a very rough year last year. We expect with a new coach for them to start the rebuilding process, but we're going to need to see some evidence of that before we can throw them a pick. I'm going with the Shelby County Wildcats to get the dub.
Brett Madison, Ashlyn Cook go with Shelby County. Eric Parsons is going to pick the Lincoln Bears. I'm going to go with Shelby County as well. Etowah Blue Devils at Jacksonville Golden Eagles, also a Region 6 opponent, also with a new head coach this year. Willie. There you go. There we go.
Goodness gracious. Etowah has been a thorn in the side of the Eagles. In 10 meetings, the Devils have won 7 of the 10. They started playing back in 1939. Boy, these series are getting older and older, with several breaks in the series and 2 playoff games against each other. Jacksonville won last season for the first time since 1976, 43-33 at Etowah. Well, I'm picking the Devils to get their revenge on the road at Jacksonville tomorrow night.
Willie goes with Etowah. to get that win. Brett Staggs, who do you pick?
You know, this was really one of the only ones I went back and forth on. I had to look really close to the stats from last year. Probably going to be the closest game, but Jacksonville returns too much defensive experience to bet against them. Defense wins championships and football games. I'm taking the Jacksonville Golden Eagles at home.
Brett Madison, Ashlyn Cook, and Eric Parsons also picked Jacksonville, and I'm going to go with Jacksonville as well. Game number 10, the final game, the big game. Your Moody Blue Devils at Gainesville Red Elephants, who are 1-0. Willie, who do you have?
Up to this point, this is the only state border game in Moody history. This is the first ever road trip to the state of Georgia for a football game, but this is the second out-of-state team, Bishop McNamara, we played a couple years ago, that the Blue Devils have played. Moody is the defending Class 5A North champions from last season. This is a new season for new things. Moody looks to return to the championship game and win it this time. The new chapter starts tonight here in Gainesville, Georgia. I'm picking the Moody Blue Devils on the road here in Red Elephant Country to get the win.
Brett Staggs.
That's not a roll tide this time.
Brett Staggs, who do you have?
Looking out at warm-up, it's just a star-studded football field out there. You know, the Gainesville's led by Xavier Griffin, Kareem Hewley, Jamarian Matthews. You know, people going all over the country to play football. And then on the Blue Devils side, you got LaCameron Meadows, Josiah Doer, Jagger Ludoff, Cam Mallerie, Marshall Teofilo, Barack Willis, Elijah Rutledge. Player after player with huge Division I offers that are fantastic football players. But I'll tell you what, the Blue Devils have a little extra fire this year, a lot of focus in the offseason, and the culture just continues to build as the Blue Devils get better and better every year. And this is going to be a historic game that's kind of going to be the ringing of the bell for a fantastic Blue Devils football season. The Moody Blue Devils go on the road and upset the Gainesville Red Elephants tonight.
Brett Madison, Ashlyn Cook, and Eric Parsons picked Moody. I'm looking at this game. I know Moody has lost a lot last year. Charlie Johnston won, the quarterback leader. Also, we lost Sidney Walton. We lost Jackson Randall, Caden Smith. A lot of the offensive linemen. We got 3 offensive linemen gone. We had to replace those. Going to be interesting to watch those guys tonight because they're going to face some stiff, very good competition on that DL for the Red Elephants tonight. So that's going to be one key that I'll be watching as well. Defensively, got a lot of guys back.
Yep.
My only concern is the depth. Last year when they rotated, subbed out, we really didn't drop off that much. But I expect Moody to really, really give a good game, and I'm going to go with the Blue Devils to win tonight. One key, they have to get off the field on third down. We can't let these